From WBAY TV, coverage you can count on. Action 2 News starts right now with breaking news.
Good evening. We begin tonight with that breaking news out of Appleton, where police say several people have been taken to hospitals after a shooting near the city transit center.
This is a very fluid investigation. However, Appleton police tell us an officer is among those injured. Jason Dimmerman has been at the scene all evening and joins us now live with what we know so far. Jason.
Bill, there is still a heavy police presence out here tonight, as much of the area surrounding the Valley Transit Center remains blocked off to people passing by. We have seen investigators out here going over every inch of the grounds on all sides of this building. Now, many questions remain. What we do know is this started out as a medical call shortly before 6:30 tonight. Once responders showed up, shots went off, striking a number of people. We do know that both a police officer and a firefighter were hit. Police say they're still trying to figure out what led up to this and exactly how many shots went off. I spoke to police a short time ago asking about the condition of the victims. Here's what Officer Megan Cash told me.
It was a very quick scene. It was things that we had to get people to the hospital quickly. So we're just happy that we could get them there and get the medical attention that they needed. We do believe one officer was injured, and so it's going to be a hard day for us, especially during police week, to have something like this happen.
And just a few minutes ago, I was told that both the police and fire chief are with these victims at the hospital. Some people out here at the scene did tell me they saw police arresting a person. However, that has not been confirmed yet.
Action 2 News starts right now with breaking news.
All right, starting with that breaking news for you. Good morning. An update on last night's shooting at Appleton's Valley Transit Center. Overnight, the Appleton Fire Department now saying that the firefighter shot has died.
And the fire department says that firefighter was a 14-year veteran of the department, but the name has not been released yet this morning. Police tell us they do expect to release more information today. So here's what police have said about what happened. Police and firefighters responding to a medical call at the transit center at 5:30 last night. While the patient was being treated, somehow the situation escalated and shots were fired.
I looked up, I heard a pow, and I thought it was the lawnmower backfiring. I heard it again. I looked up because we can see the bus stop from my bedroom window. Looked at the tree. I saw the guy shoot a female, and she went down, and another shot was fired. And then there was another male, and he went down, and then I saw the shooter flee.
The firefighter, a police officer, and 2 others were hurt. The firefighter later died at the hospital. The conditions on those other folks have not yet been released.
And police haven't said if anyone has been arrested, but say there is no threat to the public. And witnesses tell us they saw someone being arrested. Officers have been gathering evidence at the scene overnight, and the Green Bay Police Department is carrying out the investigation. Appleton Police Chief Todd Thomas read a statement last night.
I'd like to thank the community for their patience as we work through this incident. The Green Bay Police Department responded and will investigate the incident with the assistance of several other agencies. We ask that the community keep all those involved in your thoughts and prayers.
The fire department tells us the procession is traveling up 41 northbound, coming into the city at the College Avenue exit, making its way down College Avenue past Houdini Plaza, before turning left onto Drew Street, then left onto Hancock, before its final left turn onto North Oneida Street to Brent Truteen Nickel Funeral Chapel. Now, we do have a crew that is covering the procession. We will bring that to you later today on Action 2 News.
Around 12:30 this afternoon, dozens of people were lined up on both sides of the streets in downtown Appleton. Many telling us they're feeling a mixture of emotions after the tragic incident that happened last night. People in the crowd range from veterans, first responders, people who are currently in school to become a firefighter, and the Appleton residents. One man who's a part-time medic for Bowders Fire Department says this only motivated him to finish school and become a firefighter.
If anything, it makes me want to be what I want to be even more. Support our fallen brothers and support the other firemen who are working right now. I look forward to my career, and staying safe is number one for all of us, and making sure I can have a long, healthy career as a firefighter.
Team coverage begins with Emily Matesik live at Appleton Fire Station 1 after Appleton officials talked about Lundgaard's death. Emily.
Yeah, Bill and Cami, at about 3 o'clock this afternoon, firefighters came outside and placed an in memoriam flag on the flagpole. This, as a memorial of flowers continues to grow outside of Fire Station Number 1. This community is mourning firefighter Mitch Lungard, who was shot and killed, coming to the aid of others.
This has been a trying 24 hours for our department and the entire fire service.
Appleton Fire Chief Jeremy Hansen choked back tears as firefighter Mitchell Lungard was identified as the first responder shot and killed last night. The married father of 3 began his career with the Appleton Fire Department back in 2005. He was gunned down after responding to a medical emergency at Valley Transit.
Efforts to provide medical care began immediately. Mitch was transported to Theta Clark Regional Medical Center here in Appleton. The efforts by the Theta Care emergency room staff were nothing less than extraordinary. Tragically, he died from his injuries Wednesday evening.
Many people are expressing grief tonight in response to this shooting. Some of that came out during a vigil for the victims, which just wrapped up a short time ago. Jason Zimmerman was at the event. He's live in Appleton to tell us what happened. Jason.
Bill, more than 150 people came out for this prayer vigil at the Core in downtown Appleton tonight, where the church is just blocks away from where this shooting took place, in order to reflect on the loss of this fallen firefighter.
We're really grateful to have you with us today.
As a way to lean on each other for support, people from across the Appleton area came together to pray and mourn the loss of firefighter Mitchell Lungard.
This is the place we're supposed to be. We're supposed to come together as family, and it is a tragedy, but that's why we have to come together and come to this vigil. We're on each other's sides. We should not be shooting each other.
The vigil, which lasted about 30 minutes, featured speakers, a moment of prayer, and several songs.
And when I got into my car, and I saw officers with guns drawn.
It was organized by Pastor Mike Novotny, who was among those downtown Wednesday night who heard the gunshots go off.
You know, so many of us just read these stories again and again, and now here it's happening in our own backyard. So I think just being real and not shying away from those questions as people, but knowing that God can handle questions like that, and hopefully give a lot of hope and peace in the process.
Gabby Chavez came with her 2 boys, all of them holding up American flags.
We came here today and tonight because I want them to know what a real hero is. I mean, there's Spider-Man and Iron Man, but I want them to know this man was a real hero.
And this truck here with the bunting on it. Carrying the family of firefighter Lungard in the front seat. And I apologize for my voice cracking earlier when firefighter Lungard carrying his casket, that truck went by. His kids in the front seat. If you've got kids, you know how tough it is. A hard day for everyone here in the Fox Valley. Bill and Cami.
We're at the corner of Mason Street and Hillock Court, and I want to talk about, as we are driving up, there were signs here already greeting us as we came up, so showing signs of support for fallen firefighter Mitch Lungard. And now we have the procession, the first Appleton police coming through here.
Yeah, Cami, lots of people just starting to show up here at Appleton Alliance Church. The main entrance to the church is right behind me, and out there you can see a number of firefighters gathered, waiting for the arrival of fallen firefighter Mitch Lungard. That will be where he will arrive at the very end of this procession. And if we go over here to my right, over here by the Lindale Bridge, you can see where there's a couple of firefighters with trucks, ladder trucks extended, and a flag draped over those ladders. That is the bridge where the procession will soon arrive to, and it will go right underneath those 2 extended ladders.
Jason Zimmerman joins us now live outside Appleton Alliance Church, where a tremendous outpouring of support has been evident all day. Jason.
Bill, I'm told this service is expected to start any minute, is still scheduled to be on time despite a huge crowd that showed up for the vigil this afternoon, which ran from 3 until 5:30. Now, if you take a look right behind me, you can still see people outside of this church, but that is a group of firefighters that are just waiting to go in as part of this ceremony. All of this is to pay respects to fallen firefighter Mitch Lundgaard. For many on the grounds, it has been an emotional afternoon. Now, this was the final stop during today's procession, and we saw many people lining the street. Just outside the parking lot, 2 fire trucks had extended ladders with a flag draped over as a special salute to Lundgaard as the procession passed by underneath. When it did arrive at the church, firefighters stood in formation at the main entrance in what's referred to as a sea of blue as the casket was carried inside. Then Officer Megan Cash of the Appleton Police Department read a statement from the family thanking the community for all the support they've received since this tragedy, which has meant a lot.
Mitch became a firefighter. He swore to serve his community, helping people, and he died selflessly doing that. A part of our community was tragically taken from us last Wednesday when we lost Mitchell.
Just going down the procession, seeing the number of people holding flags, standing at attention and saluting, some of them with visibly upset, tears in their eyes. It just tells you a lot.
Side of the Appleton Alliance Church, you can see right now a group of firefighters that are waiting to go in as we await for the start of this service, and we are told it is expected to was scheduled to start around 6 o'clock, but there is potentially a slight delay because of all the people that showed up for the visitation this afternoon. I mean, earlier there was a huge crowd outside. We saw a line that had maybe hundreds of people in it that had showed up here to be a part of this ceremony. Many of them likely just getting off of work. And then right around 5 o'clock, the police told us to ask that nobody else come out here as the building was at capacity.
Well, we understand that the press conference is starting right now. Let's just go live to Appleton and listen in.
In assessing the circumstances, there's no question that Sergeant Bees and Officer Christensen of the Appleton Police Department intended to shoot Reuben Houston. I also conclude the evidence demonstrates that when officers fired their weapons, they believed that Mr. Houston was engaged in behavior that threatened the lives of themselves, the firefighters, the paramedics, and citizens in the area of the transit center. At which point Houston stands back, racks his gun, and indexes it, and immediately shoots 2 times. Officer Christensen also responded instantaneously from the location that he was, where he also grabbed his duty weapon, he indexed it, and he shot. Mr. Houston shot probably a millisecond or 2 ahead of Officer Christensen, but almost exactly simultaneously. At that point in time, Houston is walking backwards towards the library. And at that point in time, all of the individuals there are starting to scatter in order to find cover.
And you have been listening live to Outagamie County District Attorney Melinda Templis and Appleton Police Chief Todd Thomas providing an update on the investigation into last month's deadly shooting at Valley Transit in Appleton.
That press conference went over just about an hour, and they talked about a lot. They reviewed these findings, and the DA ultimately determined that charges will not be filed against the 2 Appleton police officers. They say they acted justly in their response that day in May. Authorities were called to the transit center on May 15th for a person having a medical emergency. That person, 47-year-old Reuben Houston of Wausau. He was arriving to Appleton on a bus. Now, the DA revealed today during this press conference, passengers called 911 because they believed Houston was having a seizure. They told officials he wouldn't wake up. His breathing was unusual. So they got on scene. Authorities believe that Houston was showing signs of an overdose. They gave him a Narcan, 2 doses, to reverse the effects. Houston did come to. Authorities learned that he had taken his wife's morphine. He had admitted to that. Fearing, though, that he may have had another episode or would be having another episode, they wanted to take Houston to the hospital. He refused. During this time, officers asked if they could pat him down. Houston kind of brushed that off. He said he needed to get back to Wausau, his sick wife, but bus employees stepped in. They said he could not get back on that bus because they just couldn't accept the liability if he had another episode, another overdose. And at some point then, in the following minutes, Houston then pulled out a gun. He began firing. Police returned fire. They killed Houston.
But during the gunfire, Appleton driver engineer Mitch Lengard was struck by Houston's fire. He died at the hospital.